There are moments in life when it feels like everything has stopped. You pray, you hope, but nothing seems to change. Days turn into months, and months turn into years, and you begin to ask yourself a painful question. God, where are you? Many people struggle with waiting because waiting feels like silence. It feels like abandonment. It feels like God has forgotten your prayers and moved on to someone else's story. But the truth is something far more powerful. God's timing often feels slow because He is preparing something bigger than we imagined. Think about a seed planted in the ground. When you plant it, nothing happens on the surface for a long time. You might even think the seed has died. But beneath the soil, something incredible is happening. Roots are forming, strength is developing, life is growing in places you cannot see. In the same way, when your life feels like it is stuck, God may actually be doing His most important work behind the scenes. We live in a world of instant results. We expect quick success, fast answers, and immediate breakthroughs. But God does not operate on human clocks. His timeline is different because His purpose is deeper. When God delays something, it is not to punish you, it is to prepare you. Sometimes the blessing you are asking for requires a version of you that does not yet exist. The opportunity you want might require wisdom you have not yet developed. The position you are praying for may require strength you are still learning to build. So while you are waiting, God is shaping you. There are people who received success too early and it destroyed them. They were not ready for the pressure, the responsibility, or the influence. What looked like a delay was actually protection. Imagine if everything you prayed for happened immediately. You might walk into rooms you are not ready for. You might carry blessings that become burdens because your character has not been prepared to handle them. God cares more about who you become than how fast you arrive. Some of the greatest stories in life are stories of waiting. Waiting seasons teach patience. They build faith. They deepen your character. And most importantly, they teach you to trust God even when you cannot see what He is doing. Waiting does not mean nothing is happening. Waiting means preparation is happening. While you are waiting, God may be aligning people who will enter your life at the perfect moment. He may be removing obstacles you never knew existed. He may be opening doors that could not open until the right time arrived. Think about a puzzle. When you only see one piece, it looks meaningless. But when the entire picture is complete, every piece suddenly makes sense. One day, you will look back at the seasons where you felt forgotten, and you will realize something extraordinary. Those were the seasons where God was preparing the very thing you prayed for. The closed doors protected you. The delays strengthened you. The waiting matured you. What felt like a setback was actually a setup. There are blessings that only arrive when the timing is perfect. If they come too early, they fail. But when they arrive at the exact moment God planned, everything fits together in a way that only He could orchestrate. So you feel like life is moving slower than you hoped. Do not lose faith. Just because you cannot see progress does not mean progress is not happening. God is still writing your story. He is still preparing the opportunity. He is still shaping your character. He is still aligning the moment where everything will make sense. And one day, the very delay that frustrated you will become the reason your blessing is stronger, wiser, and more meaningful than you ever imagined. One of the most difficult experiences in life is the season of waiting, especially when that waiting is connected to something you have prayed about for a long time. You ask God for direction, for change, for healing, for opportunity, or for a breakthrough, and yet nothing seems to happen. Days pass with no visible progress. Weeks go by without answers. Sometimes even years pass and the situation still looks the same. In those moments, waiting can begin to feel like silence. When people experience silence in their spiritual journey, they often interpret it painful ways. Some begin to believe that God is ignoring them. Others start to wonder if they did something wrong that caused God to turn away. The longer the silence lasts, the easier it becomes for doubt to creep into the heart. Questions begin to form. Did God hear my prayer? Does God care about what I'm going through? Why does it seem like everyone else's life is moving forward while mine feels stuck? This emotional struggle is common because human nature is wired to expect responses quickly. In everyday life, when we speak to someone, we expect them to reply. When we send a message, we wait for a response. When we work hard, we hope to see results soon after. Because of this mindset, when God does not respond in the time frame we expect, it can feel like we are speaking into an empty space. But spiritual silence does not mean that nothing is happening. In many cases, silence is not absence. It is a different form of presence. Just because God's not answering in the way you expected does not mean he is not listening. Just because you cannot see movement does not mean that movement is not taking place. Often God's work happens in places we cannot see or understand yet. While we are focused on what is happening today, God is looking at the entire journey of our lives. He sees the moments that are coming months or years from now, and he is already preparing the path for those moments. What feels like silence to us may actually be a period where God is arranging circumstances, shaping character, and positioning events so that the outcome will be far greater than what we imagine. Waiting also reveals the depth of our faith. It is easy to trust when answers come quickly. It is easy to believe when doors open immediately. But faith grows strongest when we continue believing even when we do not yet see the evidence. The quiet seasons challenge us to trust not just in God's power, but in his wisdom and timing. During these silent periods, many people assume that God has stepped away from their story. Yet in reality, these are often the moments when God is closest, quietly guiding events behind the scenes. He may be working in the hearts of other people who will eventually play a role in your life. He may be redirecting opportunities so that you avoid paths that would have harmed you. He may even be strengthening parts of your character that will be essential for the future you are stepping into. The truth is that silence can feel uncomfortable because it removes our sense of control. When there is no immediate answer, we cannot predict what will happen next. But this uncertainty is also where trust becomes deeper and more genuine. Instead of relying on visible proof, you begin to rely on the belief that God is still working, even when the process is invisible. Many of the most transformative moments in life are prepared during seasons that felt quiet and uneventful at the time. What appeared to be stillness was actually preparation. What seemed like unanswered prayer was often the beginning of a bigger answer that required more time to unfold. One of the most challenging aspects of faith is learning to trust that progress can be happening even when there is no visible evidence. Human beings are naturally drawn to what they can see. We measure success through visible movement, results, achievements, opportunities, and changes that can be clearly recognized. When these things are not present, it can feel like life has stalled and nothing is moving forward. But in reality, many of the most important processes in life happen quietly and invisibly before they ever appear on the surface. Think about how nature works. When a farmer plants seeds in the soil, nothing changes on the surface for quite some time. If someone were to walk by that field in the early days, they might assume that nothing is happening. The ground looks exactly the same as it did before the seeds were planted. Yet beneath the soil, a powerful transformation is taking place. The seed begins to break open. Tiny roots start stretching into the ground, searching for nutrients and stability. Strength is forming long before the first green leaf appears above the surface. In many ways, life works the same way. There are seasons when God is doing his most significant work beneath the surface of your life. These are the times when circumstances may not appear to be changing, but something meaningful is developing internally and around you. Character is growing, wisdom is forming. Strength is quietly being built. The experiences you are going through are shaping you into the person who will eventually step into the opportunity you have been praying for. Behind the scenes, God may also be arranging situations that you cannot yet see. Opportunities often require the alignment of many factors: people, timing, circumstances, and preparation. While you may be focused on the moment you are currently living in, God is already working in moments that have not yet arrived. Conversations may be happening that will later connect to your life. Doors may be opening somewhere that will eventually lead to the path you are meant to walk. Sometimes the lack of visible progress causes people to feel discouraged. They begin to believe that their efforts are meaningless because they cannot yet see the results. But growth often follows a pattern where the preparation stage is longer than the visible reward stage. Just like the roots of a tree grow deep and strong before the branches spread wide, personal and spiritual development often happens quietly before success becomes visible. These hidden seasons also serve another purpose. They build resilience. When everything happens quickly and easily, people may not develop the inner strength needed to sustain long-term success. But when someone walks through a period where progress is slow and uncertain, they develop patience, endurance, and a deeper sense of purpose. These qualities become essential when larger responsibilities and greater opportunities arrive. There is also a certain beauty in the unseen work of God. It reminds us that a life is not only about what we can measure or control. It invites us to trust that there is a bigger picture unfolding beyond what we currently understand. When we look back at our lives years later, we often realize that the seasons we once thought were unproductive were actually the very seasons that prepared us for everything that came afterward. During these moments, it is important to remember that the absence of visible change does not equal the absence of progress. God's work often happens quietly, patiently, and with incredible precision. He is building foundations that are strong enough to support the future that is coming. He is shaping circumstances in ways that will eventually make sense, even if they feel confusing now. What appears to be a pause in your journey may actually be a period where the most important parts of your story are being carefully constructed behind the scenes. One of the main reasons waiting feels so frustrating is because human beings naturally think in terms of deadlines, schedules, and quick results. We organize our lives around time. We plan when we will finish school, when we will start a career, when we expect success to happen, and when we believe certain dreams should come true. Because of this mindset, when life does not follow the timeline we imagine, it can feel like something has gone wrong. People often carry a mental clock for their goals. They believe that by a certain age, they should have achieved specific milestones. They expect doors to open quickly after they put in effort. They assume that once they pray or work towards something, the results should appear within a reasonable period of time. When those expectations are not met, frustration begins to grow. It may feel like life is falling behind schedule or that opportunities are slipping away. However, God's perspective on time is very different from ours. While humans focus on immediate outcomes, God sees the entire journey of a person's life at once. He understands not only where you are now, but also the experiences you will need in the future, the people you will encounter, and the responsibilities you will eventually carry. Because of this broader perspective, his timing often prioritizes preparation and purpose rather than speed. What people call slow may actually be strategic. God is not simply trying to move you from one stage to another as quickly as possible. Instead, he is building a path that allows every step to contribute to a greater outcome. Sometimes that path requires additional time because certain lessons need to be learned, certain strengths need to be developed, or certain circumstances must come together before the next door can open. Consider how different life would be if everything happened instantly, if every dream, opportunity, or responsibility arrived the moment you desired it. There would be no no time to grow into the person capable of handling those things wisely. Success without preparation often leads to pressure that people are not ready to carry. Influence without maturity can cause people to make decisions that damage both themselves and others. God's timeline takes these realities into account. Rather than rushing the process, He allows growth to unfold step by step. Each season of life adds something valuable: knowledge, resilience, patience, humility, or understanding. These qualities might not seem exciting while they are developing, but they become essential when larger opportunities arrive. Another reason God's timing may feel slower than expected is because His plans often involve more than just one person. Your future might intersect with the lives of others who are also going through their own seasons of preparation. The right moment for something to happen may depend on multiple stories aligning at exactly the right time. What appears to be a delay in your life may actually be the process of synchronizing circumstances that will benefit you later. It is also important to recognize that God's timeline focuses on long-term impact rather than short-term satisfaction. Humans often desire quick success because it provides immediate validation and relief from uncertainty, but God is more concerned with creating outcomes that will last, outcomes that carry meaning and purpose far beyond a single moment. When you begin to view life from this perspective, waiting can take on a different meaning. Instead of seeing it as wasted time, it becomes part of the design of your journey. The slower pace may actually be protecting the quality and stability of what is coming next. Learning to trust God's timeline requires patience and faith because the full picture is rarely visible in the present moment. Yet many people eventually realize that the events that once felt delayed were actually unfolding exactly when they needed to. The experiences they gained during the waiting period ended up being the very things that allowed them to step into their future with confidence, strength, and wisdom. Many people pray for opportunities, success, influence, or breakthrough moments in their lives. They imagine the joy and excitement that will come when those prayers are finally answered. But what people often overlook is that the blessing they desire may require a level of personal growth that has not yet been fully developed. Before stepping into certain opportunities, a person must become the kind of individual who can handle them wisely and responsibly. Growth is one of the most important parts of the journey toward any meaningful blessing. Without growth, even the most wonderful opportunities can become difficult to manage. Imagine giving someone a leadership role before they have learned how to communicate effectively, manage pressure, or make balanced decisions. The opportunity might be valuable, but without the necessary preparation, the person may struggle under its weight. In many ways, blessings come with responsibilities attached to them. Success often brings expectations from others. Influence can place someone in positions where their choices affect many lives. Opportunities can create challenges that require wisdom, patience, and emotional strength. If these qualities are not developed first, the blessing may become overwhelming rather than fulfilled. This is why growth frequently happens before the promise is fulfilled. During seasons when it feels like nothing significant is happening, you may actually be learning the skills and developing the mindset that will support your future. You may be gaining patience through small challenges, learning discipline through daily effort, or developing humility through experiences that shape your perspective. Growth also changes how a person views success. Early in life, people often see success only as achievement or recognition. But as they grow, they begin to understand that true success also involves responsibility, integrity, and the ability to handle both praise and criticism. This deeper understanding helps ensure that when opportunities arrive, they are approached with wisdom rather than pride. Another important aspect of growth is emotional maturity. Many blessings involve relationships, teamwork, or leadership roles that require strong emotional awareness. Learning how to respond calmly in stressful situations, how to listen to others, and how to make thoughtful decisions are all skills that take time to develop. Without these qualities, even great opportunities can become sources of conflict or frustration. Growth also strengthens resilience. The journey toward meaningful goals often includes setbacks, disappointments, and unexpected challenges. When a person grows through these experiences, they develop the ability to keep moving forward even when circumstances become difficult. This resilience becomes extremely valuable when they step into larger roles or responsibilities. In addition, personal growth often helps refine a person's character. Qualities like honesty, humility, perseverance, and compassion become stronger through life's experiences. These characteristics shape how someone handles success and influence. When blessings arrive in the life of someone who has developed strong character, they are more likely to use those blessings in ways that positively impact others. Sometimes people focus so much on the destination that they overlook the importance of becoming the right person for that destination. Yet the process of growth ensures that when the opportunity finally appears, it is not just received with excitement, but also handled with wisdom and stability. The time spent growing may not always feel exciting because progress is often gradual, but each lesson learned, each challenge overcome, and each new perspective gained is quietly preparing you to step into something greater. The blessing you are waiting for may not only be about the opportunity itself, it may also be about the person you become along the way. One of the most painful assumptions people make during difficult seasons is believing that a delay means rejection when something you hope for does not happen. It is easy to interpret that moment as a final answer. A closed door, an unanswered prayer, or a postponed opportunity can make you feel as though you have been denied something important. It may seem like your efforts were not enough or that your hopes were simply misplaced. However, what often appears to be rejection is actually preparation happening in a different form. The delay is not always a signal that the opportunity will never come. In many cases, it simply means the moment has not arrived yet. Life has a way of unfolding in stages, and certain blessings require the right foundation before they can become a reality. Preparation often takes time because it involves more than just external circumstances. Sometimes the delay is about internal growth. You may be learning patience, resilience, discipline, or humility during a season that feels slow. These qualities may not seem directly connected to the goal you are pursuing, but they often become the very strengths that help you sustain success once it arrives. Imagine receiving something significant before you are truly ready for it. At first, it might feel exciting, but without the right preparation, it can quickly become overwhelming. Opportunities bring responsibility. Influence brings pressure. Growth brings new challenges that require maturity and wisdom to navigate. If these things arrive too early, they may create stress and instability rather than fulfillment. Delays also give people time to develop clarity. Sometimes when we first desire something, we are drawn to the idea of it more than the reality of what it requires. During seasons of waiting, we begin to understand the deeper responsibilities attached to our goals. This process refines our intentions and helps us approach future opportunities with a more grounded and thoughtful mindset. Another important part of preparation is learning through experience. The situations you face during a waiting season often teach lessons that cannot be learned in any other way. These experiences shape how you think, how you respond to challenges, and how you handle success when it eventually arrives. Without those lessons, the future opportunity might feel unfamiliar or difficult to manage. Delays can also strengthen determination. When people face obstacles or extended waiting periods, they often discover how deeply they truly care about their goals. Some dreams fade during the waiting processes, revealing that they were temporary desires rather than lasting passions. Other dreams grow stronger, becoming more meaningful because they have been tested through time and perseverance. In many situations, preparation also involves the development of surrounding circumstances. The right environment, relationships, and opportunities must exist before certain things can happen successfully. A delay may provide time for these elements to come together in ways that make the future more stable and rewarding. It is also possible that a delay is guiding you towards something better than what you originally expected. At first, the postponed opportunity may feel disappointing, but later you may realize that the extra time allowed something more aligned with your purpose to appear. What once felt like a setback may eventually reveal itself as a redirection toward a greater path. Understanding that delays can be a form of preparation changes the way people experience waiting. Instead of viewing the season as a closed door, it becomes a period where important groundwork is being laid, growth is happening internally, circumstances are evolving externally, and the pieces required for the next chapter are slowly falling into place. Waiting is rarely comfortable. It stretches patience, tests emotions, and often challenges a person's faith and confidence. Yet, despite how difficult it may feel, waiting has a powerful ability to shape character and develop resilience. In fact, some of the strongest and most grounded individuals are those who have experienced seasons where progress was slow and uncertainty was high. A character is not usually formed during moments of ease. When everything is going smoothly and quick, people rarely need to examine their attitudes, their habits, or their inner strength. But when life slows down and answers do not come immediately, a person is forced to grow in deeper ways. Waiting exposes weaknesses, reveals hidden fears, and invites individuals to develop patience and perseverance. During waiting seasons, people often face moments where they feel like giving up. They may wonder whether their efforts are worth continuing or whether their hopes will ever become reality. It is in these moments that resilience begins to form. Resilience is the ability to keep moving forward even when circumstances are uncertain or difficult. It is the strength to continue believing in a future that has not yet appeared. Each challenge encountered during a waiting period contributes to this strength. Small disappointments teach people how to recover and try again. Unexpected obstacles encourage creativity and problem solving. Moments of doubt invite individuals to rediscover their purpose and remind themselves why they started the journey in the first place. Another important part of character development during waiting is patience. Patience is not simply the act of doing nothing while time passes. True patience involves maintaining a positive mindset, continuing to grow, and staying committed to your values even when results are delayed. It is the ability to trust that progress is happening even when it is not immediately visible. Patience also teaches people to appreciate the process rather than focusing only on the outcome. When success eventually arrives after a long period of preparation, it often carries deeper meaning and satisfaction. The experiences gained during the waiting period become part of the story, adding depth and perspective to the achievement. Waiting seasons also help develop humility. When progress is slow, people are reminded that they do not control every aspect of life. This realization encourages them to rely on wisdom, faith, and perseverance rather than only on their own plans. Humility creates space for learning, growth, and openness to guidance from others. In addition, waiting can strengthen emotional stability. Life rarely unfolds exactly as expected, and learning to navigate uncertainty is an important skill. By facing periods where answers are not immediate, people gradually become more comfortable handling challenges and adapting to changing circumstances. This emotional strength becomes especially valuable when larger responsibilities appear later in life. Resilience formed during waiting also helps people support others. When someone has experienced patience, struggle, and growth firsthand, they often become more compassionate and understanding toward those going through similar situations. Their experiences allow them to encourage others with authenticity because they have personally walked through seasons of uncertainty. Over time, the character and resilience developed during waiting become essential foundations for future success. Opportunities may come and go, but inner strength remains. The patience, discipline, and determination gained through difficult seasons provide stability that allows individuals to handle both success and adversity with greater wisdom and confidence. Many people dream about achieving success as quickly as possible. They want opportunities to appear immediately and breakthroughs to happen without delay. From the outside, early success can seem exciting and desirable. It looks like a reward for ambition and hard work. However, success that arrives too early can sometimes bring challenges that a person is not yet prepared to handle. Success often carries responsibilities that are not immediately visible. Along with achievement comes pressure, expectations, and the need to make important decisions. When someone reaches a position of influence or accomplishment before they have developed the necessary maturity and wisdom, the weight of those responsibilities can become overwhelming. For example, imagine someone suddenly receiving a leadership position without having learned how to manage people effectively. They might struggle with communication, conflict resolution, and decision-making. What once seemed like an exciting opportunity could quickly turn into a stressful experience because they have not yet developed the skills needed to guide others successfully. Early success can also create emotional pressure. When a person gains recognition or achievement before they have built strong self-confidence and emotional stability, they may become overly dependent on external validation. Praise can feel addictive, and criticism can feel devastating. Without inner balance, the ups and downs of success can lead to anxiety, insecurity, or impulsive choices. Another challenge of receiving success too early is the possibility of developing pride or overconfidence. When achievements come quickly, it can create the impression that success will always be easy. A person might begin to believe that their accomplishments came entirely from their own abilities rather than from a combination of effort, support, and opportunity. This mindset can make it difficult to learn from mistakes or accept guidance from others. Growth and preparation help prevent these problems. When success is preceded by seasons of learning and perseverance, individuals develop humility and gratitude to it. They understand the effort required to reach their goals, and they become more thoughtful about how they use their influence and resources. Waiting also allows people to build practical experience. During the journey towards success, individuals encounter challenges that teach valuable lessons. They learn how to adapt when plans change, how to respond to setbacks, and how to maintain discipline during difficult moments. These experiences become essential tools that help them handle greater responsibilities later. Another reason early success can be harmful is that it may limit long-term development. When someone reaches a major achievement too quickly, they might stop seeking growth because they feel they have already arrived. But continued growth is necessary for sustained success. Without it, progress may slow down, and the individual may struggle to adapt to new challenges. In contrast, success that comes after a period of preparation often feels more stable and meaningful. By the time the opportunity arrives, the person has already developed the patience, skills, and mindset needed to manage it wisely. They are less likely to be overwhelmed by pressure because they have learned how to navigate difficulties along the way. Preparation also allows people to appreciate success in a deeper way. Achievements gained after a long journey carry stories of persistence, lessons learned, and personal transformation. These experiences add value to the accomplishment and help ensure that success becomes a foundation for continued growth rather than a moment that is difficult to sustain. Many people dream about achieving success as quickly as possible. They want opportunities to appear immediately and breakthroughs to happen without delay. From the outside, early success can seem exciting and desirable. It looks like a reward for ambition and hard work. However, success that arrives too early can sometimes bring challenges that a person is not yet prepared to handle. Success often carries responsibilities that are not immediately visible. Along with achievement comes pressure, expectations, and the need to make important important decisions when someone reaches a position of influence or accomplishment before they have developed the necessary maturity and then wisdom. The weight of those responsibilities can become overwhelming. For example, imagine someone suddenly receiving a leadership position without having learned how to manage people effectively. They might struggle with communication, conflict resolution, and decision-making. What once seemed like an exciting opportunity could quickly turn into a stressful experience because they have not yet developed the skills needed to guide others successfully. Early success can also create emotional pressure. When a person gains recognition or achievement before they have built strong confidence and emotional stability, they may become overly dependent on external validation. Praise can feel addictive and criticism can feel devastating. Without inner balance, the ups and downs of success can lead to anxiety, insecurity, or impulsive choices. Another challenge of receiving success too early is the possibility of developing pride or overconfidence. When achievements come quickly, it can create the impression that success will always be easy. A person might begin to believe that their accomplishments came entirely from their own abilities rather than from a combination of effort, support, and opportunity. This mindset can make it difficult to learn from mistakes or accept guidance from others. Growth and preparation help prevent these problems. When success is preceded by seasons of learning and perseverance, individuals develop humility and gratitude. They understand the effort required to reach their goals, and they become more thoughtful about how they use their influence and resources. Waiting also allows people to build practical experience. During the journey towards success, individuals encounter challenges that teach valuable lessons. They learn how to adapt when plans change, how to respond to setbacks, and how to maintain discipline during difficult moments. These experiences become essential tools that help them handle greater responsibilities later. Another reason early success can be harmful is that it may limit long-term development. When someone reaches a major achievement too quickly, they might stop seeking growth because they feel they have already arrived. But continued growth is necessary for sustained success. Without it, progress may slow down and the individual may struggle to adapt to new challenges. In contrast, success that comes after a period of preparation often feels more stable and meaningful. By the time the opportunity arrives, the person has already developed the patience, skills, and mindset needed to manage it wisely. They are less likely to be overwhelmed by pressure because they have learned how to navigate difficulties along the way. Preparation also allows people to appreciate success in a deeper way. Achievements gained after a long journey carry stories of persistence, lessons learned, and personal transformation. These experiences add value to the accomplishment and help ensure that success becomes a foundation for continued growth rather than a moment that is difficult to sustain.